All right, everybody, welcome back to another Wednesday. I hope you are all doing well. Good evening from Calgary. Uh, Today is going to be a very interesting topic. I have with me one of Toronto's most influential gentlemen, Mr. Fikayo. With that set aside, here, welcome, Fikayo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really good. Thank you, Aaron, for having me. I was actually an ambassador for ASEM Power as an international student, which is,
No way, really?
yeah, I was, yeah. And they've been doing amazing work with international students. And I came into Canada 2016 as an international student. So I definitely understand the plights and the intricacies of being an international student in Canada. So thank you truly for having me as a guest on the show.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Yes, while we're still waiting for people to hop on, just a quick introduction. My name is Arun, and this is Empower's Inside Scoop, where every bi weekly we tend to host events um, uh, with, I would say, industry leaders, experts, mentors, just so that we can share as much information as we can to fellow international students to help them pave their way here in Canada. It's not just about networking or finding a job, but a lot more goes into that. So it's all about how you build your own personality, how you build your own network on LinkedIn, being one of the main key platforms. And I'm glad to have Fika here today. If you would like to introduce yourself a little bit. I see that we have already have a couple of views, so we can get this started.
Yeah, so my name is Fikayo Aderoju. I am Nigerian, currently live in Toronto, and I run a non-for-profit called Project Impacting Lives. And what we do is we distribute care packages to people facing homelessness in Toronto, and we are spreading to other cities in Ontario, such as Hamilton, Ottawa, London, and Waterloo. We're doing that this December. And also, I'm the executive chairman of York University Black Alumni Network. So I am still very in touch with my university roots. So yeah, that is a little intro.
And then I see one of your LinkedIn posts where you say you're the Prime Minister of Toronto. What's that all about?
Prime Minister of Toronto is a nickname. That is
Okay.
a nickname. Yes.
Okay, so you have a nickname. Okay. All right, Mr. Prime
Yeah.
Minister.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I think I will just get started then. I think today, one of the main conversation we have is effective networking strategies for international students. Something that personally um, I think that it really helped me in building my way. So a little bit about me is I come from Thailand, and I've been here in Canada for over a year now. I came here through studies, so education is my pathway. Here in Calgary, I've been taking digital marketing course at Bow Valley, and then at the same time, I have with me over 8 years of experience in digital marketing. So I
Wow.
was the head of marketing at Amazon, head of marketing at Huawei, but it's all back home in Thailand. And all that skills really helped me grow to who I am today, and also it really help pave my ways here in Canada. Because instead of having said like, oh, I was working in marketing back home, like, oh, I used to be the marketing manager at Amazon, and that really helps trigger, and that really helps me with like my networking strategy, because once you use a big name, that is when people are like, okay, I'm listening. So
Right.
I would say just diving straight into the point today, Fikayo, would be like, in your experience, what are some key cultural difference you notice in networking style between like Canada and like other countries?
So, if I'm being completely honest, I came here when I was 16. So, I
Oh,
wasn't doing networking when I was in Nigeria. I didn't even know what networking was really. But my parents taught me about having good relationships when I was 16. But I would say in Canada, there are a lot of strategies. I would mention a few of them. On my LinkedIn, actually, I posted a 5-step approach to network, and almost 10,000 people have seen that post.
oh
So the
wow.
first thing I said on LinkedIn was you have to research experts in your field. So if whether you're in nursing or medicine or engineering or public health, you should research who are the top industry experts, right, in your field. Then the second is you have to email them or send them a message on LinkedIn, letting them know you're interested in learning more about them. And then you could ask them for a Zoom call, right? 30 minutes chat.
Coffee chat, yeah.
Yeah, coffee chat. Now, I would say sometimes it depends on how busy the individual is. If you want a soft landing, you could go 15 minutes, right? Because 15 minutes is like, yeah, like we could. So I spoke with an executive this afternoon, and she was in between meetings. So she called me with a 10 minutes frame time. I called her yesterday and she called me quickly with 10 minutes. So why I'm saying that is because you could easily say, oh, can we just meet for like 15 minutes? Let me just learn more about your experience. Things like that. They would easily say, or more easily say yes, as opposed to a 30-minute chat, right? But you can still do 30 minutes. Like, that's not a bad thing. Then the next thing is to come prepared with thoughtful questions. So don't just reach out to someone and say, hey, hello, how are you? And like, that's it, right? And so many people do that. They say, hey, hello, how are you? And then they have what they want to ask, but they don't want to be,
too direct to the point.
Or exactly. But you have to give and ask. Don't just say, hey, how are you? Right? Like, say, hey, how are you? Love learning about your journey, or love seeing your progress in this area. Do some research about them. And then also make your ask. Ask them whatever you want to ask them. So that's important. But make sure the questions that you ask them are thoughtful. Then the last thing is to be genuinely curious about their experience. So don't just be so vague, right? Like, because when someone is talking with me, I know when you did your homework, and I know when you just are talking from your head, right? So it's more impressive when you've done your homework and you come pretty much prepared. So those are some strategies that I have seen that are effective in Canada.
No, I really agree with that, because that actually really helped me. Like, number one is, before even talking or educating anybody else, I have to have it from my own experience. So ever since I got, my story goes back to like 2021, 2022, where as soon as I got my offer letter of my course, letter of acceptance, I started networking as much as I could. I went all in. I got like the LinkedIn Premium, and like, because don't forget, like I'm not like a recent graduate, so this has already been something that I've been doing, and like I just went on LinkedIn and I started reaching out to over 100 people,
Wow.
And till this date, I have people who I can, like, I wouldn't say pick up the call and just talk to them, but like we meet at networking events and I'm like, yes, like, thank you for that introduction, because that really helped me.
Yeah.
I was coming to Canada for the first time in my life, and Calgary, and I have no idea. So my approach that I took until today, like when I have any students who hop on a call with me and say like, hey, I want to learn more about you, of how you got to where you are today. I was like, I just picked up a role, a position, a title, and I just searched those titles on LinkedIn based on the locations, and I just reach out to those people and just say like, hey, I'm a marketing person in Thailand, and I'm moving to Canada, so I'm moving to Calgary, so I want to get your ideas of what did you do to get to where you are, and like, let's not just stop there, but like maybe to the next step of what is the position that is above them, to see like, okay,
that's good. That's good.
So like, I reached out to like marketing manager, and then like a product, a marketing director, like, because hey,
vice president of marketing.
Yeah, I'm a marketing manager here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to be a student. But what do I do to get to your point? And that is one thing that I really like try to like engage and tell a lot of students when I have like mentorship calls, that the networking is the key. Like sometimes people don't feel like, or like it's more of a cultural thing as well there, where I would say like friends that I know or people that I know, they don't really like they don't really just connect with people. They prefer to like,
Mm.
oh, I should meet them first, and then like I can connect with them, and then I can talk to them. But like these cold calls are like sales.
So what I would say is that you shouldn't treat it as sales. That's what I
Yeah.
would actually say. What I
Okay.
would say is you should genuinely connect with people. So I actually almost every week I'm literally connecting with people that I find on LinkedIn. And a lot of times I try to stay and not connect with people that are in the same industry that I'm in. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a naturally curious person. I'm constantly searching for information. I'm constantly trying to learn something new. I'm an avid learner. So I would constantly reach out. So I have a LinkedIn template. I'll actually
Okay.
read out the template message. So I have a template message and it says, hey, the name of the person, hope you're having an amazing, an awesome day. I came across your page and I'm very inspired by your career path. It is
Mm.
absolutely phenomenal. I would love to learn about your experience at whatever the name of the company is, Amazon or whatever the name of the company is, the path you took to get to where you are today, the types of networking and professional events that you found the most beneficial, and the values and skills that contributed to a successful career like the one you have. Amidst
Oh.
your busy schedule, I would appreciate the opportunity to connect with you for a 30-minute virtual meeting. Please feel free to select the time that is most convenient for you on my Calendly, then the Calendly link. Thank you so much for reading, and I look forward to meeting with you soon. Have a great day. So that is the message I send to people. And what I've been able to do with that message is I'm saving time because I only need to change the name of the person and then
Mm.
also the company of the person as
Yeah.
well. So you have to, when you are having that conversation, you should always try as much as possible to learn about them.
Mm.
Not just, don't go there and say, oh, I'm the best thing in the world, you should hire me because of this, blah blah blah. Learn about them, learn about their experience. That's very important. But one thing I also want to say is that quality in your connection is more important than the quantity.
Oh,
So you
100%.
can connect with 100 people, yes, but how many of those connections are meaningful connections? So that is very important as well.
I 100% agree. And then, just the exact question I was going to ask. Somebody just asked, like, could you please provide that template with us? So
Yes.
maybe what we can do is if you can provide that to me, and then what I can do is tomorrow I will have like a post going out and sharing like recap on our conversation, and I can
Sounds
also add this on there as well. So Glory, I will be sure to send
Hey,
that to you as well.
Glory.
Oh, you know him, huh?
I know Glory. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, and the other thing Glory mentioned is like one thing is they are all humans like you. So like of
Mhm.
course, just approach them how you would like to be approached. Like just somebody
Exactly.
just like, hey, help me with this. Like no one wants to do anything, but like unless you're able to like provide enough like information and ensure that you're actually interested in learning, that would
Mhm.
really help. So yeah. And then I think the one key thing is let's talk about like soft skills. That is something that people tend to not talk much about. And which ones do you think is the most crucial in networking, especially in like the Canadian context? Because you know when people are trying to get a job that they really want, they talk about like, hey, I have experience in like, I don't know, in tech, and like I've worked in this organization, I've done like so much. But then those are your hard skills. But like soft skills is more of like your presentation skills, your communication skills. And personally from my end, I feel like that is very important because like skills can be taught, but attitudes cannot. So
Mhm.
as long as somebody has that attitude of like being agile and like the ability to like to smoothen things, I think that is one really good soft skill that like would really help somebody shine over here.
I definitely agree with you. I'm writing some down right now. So the first thing I would say is communication, right?
Mm.
Regardless of anything, communication is not just a skill for helping you get a job. Communication is a good skill for life in general because at your friend's graduation, you're going to communicate. At your wedding, if you're going to get married, you're going to communicate. At the family dinner, you're going to communicate, right? So communication is really important. That's the first one. And of course, at work, you're going to be giving team presentations. You're going to be communicating with your managers, with your coworkers. So communication important, number one, as a soft skill. Second thing, I would say leadership. Leadership does not mean you are going to be, or you should, or you have to be in a leadership position. In my opinion, leadership means serving others. So what are you doing to make the life of your boss easier, right? Or your manager easier? And leadership is showing initiative, right? You see something that needs to be done and you go ahead and do it. So if you're in an interview and you want to show soft skills, you give stories about the time you showed initiative. Every hiring manager would love that. You saw an issue, I didn't have to come to tell you, or your previous manager didn't have to come to tell you that this needs to be done. You went ahead to do it because you took initiative and you saw that
taking ownership.
Exactly, taking ownership. That's very, very important. And that's why leadership as a soft skill is very good. The third thing I would definitely say is resilience and adaptability, right? So we live in an ever-changing world and in a fast-paced world, and AI is changing everything. So you have to show that you're willing to learn and you're adaptable to different circumstances. So in your interviews or whenever you're being asked, you should show the fact that in previous situations you were able to adapt quickly and you're resilient. Because to be honest, in an interview, or if you're speaking with the hiring manager, or you as a hiring manager, you don't want the person you're about to employ to tell you that when I faced this roadblock, when I faced this obstacle, I just gave up there. It was so hard and I couldn't do anything about it. And I shut my laptop and I went to sleep, right? You want to show you're definitely not going to get that job, right? You want to show that I was resilient and I was able to adapt. And even if I didn't know anything or I couldn't fix the problem, I asked around. I went out of my way to ask how to get this solved. And the fifth thing I would say is teamwork. That's the last thing I would say. Definitely, you're going to be a part of a team. Most likely, you're going to be a part of a team, and everybody wants someone that collaborates very well and is easy to work with, right? So that's the fifth soft skill I would say that is extremely important as well.
This is the point number 4 that you made was something that really triggers me, because that is something I really like if somebody comes to a, like when I'm managing a team, and like somebody comes to a stop, like when they're stuck somewhere, like what I really like is, I like it when they cut that barrier of like ego, and they're like, okay, hey, I am not able to do this,
Exactly.
but I really want to be able to do it. So like, what do I do? Like, if you can show me like this
Good.
thing, and like I don't even mind. Like I have had times where I was running like Google ads for a company, and then like I had like somebody who was under me within the same team. Like they're like, hey, like how do you do this? And like after teaching them 3 times, they still could not do it. But like it's okay, because like there are things that it takes time for me to learn as well. So and that is like, I think all of the 4 points combined together, it comes under the fifth one, which is the teamwork. Because what is teamwork? It's not like a football team. You're passing around, you're helping each other.
Exactly.
So I think that is the one key thing that really like helps you shine. And like that's one thing I noticed, that a lot of companies, like, basically over here in Canada, that they want somebody who has that teamwork thing. Like,
Exactly.
but then you can't just go up and say like, oh, I'm a good team player. Nobody would hire you for that.
No.
But it's more like, how do you show them like that, how like your contribution in the team. And like that's what, because nobody like a nosy, like somebody who just like posts. So I think that is
Yes.
also one key thing to keep in mind, man.
I agree with you. And the last thing I want to say that I would say is a really, really good problem, or soft skill, not problem. Really good soft skill is problem solving. So I can remember Obama putting out a video and saying that if you see a problem, right, not only should you say, here's the problem, but you should also propose a way to solve it. So I lead a team, right, our project Impacting Lives, And there are issues that come up, and definitely I appreciate it when people bring up the issues and also bring up solutions to those issues as well. So showing through stories, and everyone listening, what we're saying, all these soft skills, you shouldn't come and say, oh, I'm a good leader, I'm a good communicator, I'm a good problem solver. Through your stories, you should show. So you should have stories ready of showing there was this time there was an issue at a place I was working at, and here's how I solved the problem. So you should show through your stories how you solve the problem, not just say, I'm a good problem solver, because every other candidate is saying, I'm a good
I have a
problem
good
solver.
problem solver.
So, yeah.
So I think that is one thing, and then I think this really like taps into something different that we discussed earlier as well, which is like networking the right way. So after having all of this, like after having all of these like soft skills and like experiences, like also this is something that I discussed with the last candidate who I was on the call with, Inside Scope, Gagan. He was talking about like networking, and he is somebody who was in tech, and he's trying to pursue a degree in cybersecurity. So for him, it's very like tech oriented, and he was new here in Canada, and also he was trying to get approach of like networking on how to get to where he wants to be. So for him, he was attending like all these hackathons. But then, like let's say somebody like you who is more of an influential person, and more like marketing and thing, what would your approach be, or what would your tip be in terms of like networking the right way? Because
Okay, that's a good question. So most people on this call, because it says for international students, so most people
Yes.
on this call would be students, right?
Correct.
So here I have 7 simple networking tips for students. So everyone should get their pen and paper out. So the first one is to build networking into your everyday routine. So everyone has a rigid way of looking at networking. Maybe it's in a networking event, or an association, or a gala, or a conference. But networking can be done at the gas station. Networking can be done at the coffee store. Networking can be done, like, build it into your daily routine, right?
Like it doesn't have to be like at the networking event. Like it does
Exactly.
not have to be that. Like it sounds like too vague to say it, but like you could just meet somebody and like you have that interest.
Exactly. Be genuinely curious about the person, right? So if I met Aaron, I could ask him, okay, no, I won't definitely, I actually, when I meet people, I don't ask, oh, what do you do? Right? Because that's what everybody does. I would say, oh, I like your sweater. Where'd you get it from? I like fashion. So I would connect on that. And a
Hence
lot
that
of
hat.
people, they exactly, I'm always wearing a hat most times. So a lot of people will say, I like your hat. And then I give them a compliment as well that I'm not lying about, something I actually like, right? So maybe I like your jacket. And then we strike up a conversation, right?
Exactly.
So that is you're not forcing it. It just comes naturally. That's the first thing. So that's a way. The second way is also definitely to get involved on campus. So I went to York. I studied economics at York, and I was part of the African Student Association. And that really, really helped me to really connect with a lot of people on campus. So you should definitely be a part of associations or groups you like. So if you enjoy baking, or you like sewing, or you like soccer, or you like tennis, whatever you like or you enjoy, you could join the association on campus, because you have something to relate on, right? I like documentaries a lot, and there's a friend I have that all we do a lot of times is we talk about documentaries, and we send each other new documentaries that come out. And sometimes we watch the documentaries separately and say, oh, here's what I learned, right? So that's something. So that may not be networking for someone else, but like we're connecting, we're
Like
developing a relationship.
I think there's a wrong impression that is being kept about like networking.
Mhm.
Networking doesn't have to be like professional. Like
Mhm.
even having a friend, that is also networking. You have friends who like who can be completely different from you and like not even in the same field, but like
Mhm.
you could share like something similar, like your documentary. Like personally, I love documentaries. I don't know, but like I'm very eager to see like how things are made. Like there's
Exactly.
a show on like Discovery of how do they do it, and like they just show like how things are made, and like
Fantastic.
I find
Love
all of
it.
this very very interesting. So
Have
like
you watched the David Beckham documentary?
yes, I am
Okay,
on
we're
episode
gonna
2
talk.
right now. It's very interesting. And
We're
like
gonna talk.
honestly, I'm not a soccer fan, but like I know Beckham, and I like he's been like a role model, I don't know, ever since. And like
Mhm.
it's very cool. Like but like I know like it's very interesting. So it can be networking can be anything. And I feel like people get the wrong impression, because when you think about network, it's like people think about, oh, it only has to be like on a professional level, or like at a particular point. It can just be anywhere. Like treat it as it's just like in your routine of like it's someone new. It's like a new person who you're trying to get to know.
One thing I would also, so there are a couple of things I'll add as well. Don't be afraid to make the first move,
Mm.
right? So don't be afraid to make the first move. Now that sounds like a date. That sounds like dating advice, but what I mean is just reach out, right?
Yep.
Send the message, even though they don't respond, is fine. Still
90% of
send
the
the
time,
message.
90% of the time you will not hear back.
Yeah, but still send the message because you never know. There's some people I'm connected with right now that I genuinely didn't think they were going to respond or anything, but I'll still send it because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So you have
Point.
to take that, you have to take that shot, you have to take that chance. And another thing I would add about networking is that it goes both ways. So it's not just all about you. For example, if you're attending a marketing conference and there's a panel on search engine optimization, SEO, your specialty, make it known. That's the value you are looking for, and others are looking for in you. But also ask about their own skills. Also ask about their own skill sets. Also, don't make it all about yourself in networking.
Mm.
Ask about other people, the person you're talking to as well, and make sure you ask, how can I help you?
People
Instead
love
of,
to be heard. People love to be asked. They don't like just to be. People love to be like they love to share their own impression, like their
Mhm,
own thing. So if you're
mhm.
just going and asking them, they're not going to get anything out of it, and you're just going to like keep them apart.
Exactly, exactly. So make sure in the conversation you ask the individual, how can I help you? Because if you're there to do is just take, then it's going to
Nobody
be a
wants.
transaction. It wouldn't
Exactly.
be, you wouldn't build a long-term professional relationship with that individual, right? But when you're there to genuinely just make a connection with them, then
Mm.
you ask them, how can I help you? And you could go volunteer, or you could go help them with this, or you could connect them or make an introduction. These are ways you can help someone. And the best part is free.
Yep.
So you
People
should start
love free
doing it.
stuff.
Yep.
And then coming back to a quick thing. So when we're talking about networking, right? This is something that I would really love to know. And I made a point specifically just to ask you this. So I would love to hear like a success story or a breakthrough you have done through your networking.
I actually have quite a few. So I used to be a part of a program called Youth Challenge International,
Okay.
and it was like a climate change or climate leader. They were teaching youth leaders about climate, right? About the climate education. And I joined the program, and it's an organization called Youth Challenge International, and the program manager, developed a really good relationship with her, right?
Mm.
And we would meet often. She helped a lot with the beginning stages of PIL, because PIL really started with distributing care packages on the street.
Right. PIL is Project Impacting Lives.
Project Impacting Lives, yes. So it started with really distributing stuff on the street. It wasn't meant to be an organization. That wasn't the goal in mind. And she helped really give a lot of motivation, but also streamline what exactly we are doing and who we are serving. We ended
Mm.
up building a professional relationship, and the program ended. We were now connected on LinkedIn. Guess what? PIL, we started with 20 care packages. last year our goal was to do 1,500 of these care packages. Now we needed a lot of dollars to get this done. And then she reached out. She didn't know our goal. She just reached out to me. I was like, Fikayo, do you want a $10,000 grant? And I was like, yes, I do. What do we have to do? And then we got it done, and we ended up getting $10,000 of money, and they helped us to get 1,500 of these care packages, and each of them had warm socks, warm gloves, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and lip balm in each of them, and also emergency blankets. And that was through networking. But here's the thing, I didn't reach out to her, she reached out to me, but we had built the relationship years ago or a year ago. So it wasn't like, oh, can you help me? Can you give me $10,000? No, like it was, we were already connected, and she's had an opportunity, and she knew I was doing this work, and then she reached out. So
If you could walk me a little bit more, like what do you do at PIL? Like are you more of a foundation, or like what are you doing over there?
So we're a non-for-profit. We're a non-for-profit, and what we do is we support people facing homelessness on the street. So there are people on the streets that need support, but we not only support people on the streets, we also support people in shelters. So in 2019, we started with 20 of these care packages, and then in December of 2020, we did 100 of these care packages, and then in May of 2022, last year, we did 150, and we got some funding from the government. And then last year, with the help of YCI Youth Challenge International, we did 1,500 of these care packages. And then this year, we're looking to distribute a minimum of 5,000 care products to people facing homelessness all across Ontario. So remember, we started in Toronto, but now we're going to other cities like Hamilton, Waterloo, London, and Ottawa as well. And then that's what we do. We support people facing homelessness on the streets and in shelters as well. And that entails a lot, because we have to coordinate with not only volunteers but also shelters, and we have to get the word out there. And it entails a lot of planning.
And what if our viewers are looking to help and participate and donate? Like, is there a way that they can do that as well?
Yeah, so I could send you that information. We have a GoFundMe that people could donate to. But right now, we're also collecting products. So what we do is we distribute the warm socks, warm gloves, toothpaste, toothbrushes, also emergency blankets as well. And yeah, we've been getting some products, and Unilever actually gave us over 7,500 bars of soap. So really grateful for that donation, and we're getting all the products together so people can support by volunteering. They can also support by sharing our post. You could go to at Project Impacting Lives, and you could share our post, comment, like all of that fun stuff. And you could also donate money, or you could donate products as well. So we appreciate all the help.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much. And then if any of our viewers are looking and they're interested in supporting, please feel free to hop on to Project Impacting Lives, and and then you can check out the website. I'm sure you have a website, and then you can take a direct to GoFundMe.
Yes, so www.projectimpactinglives.org.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And then jumping back, so I think we are almost running out of time. So I think before you leave, there's two more things. So I would love to ask you one more question, and then I want to have something different today, so which is a rapid fire. So let's see how that goes. That is not fully prepared as yet, I would say. But yeah, okay. So what advice would you give to students or young professionals who are looking to nurture or maintain their professional networks? Like someone who has already reached out, but they still are not that sure of, like, am I doing the right way or am I doing it the wrong way? Or based on the template that you will be sharing with me, I will definitely be showcasing that. But is there anything outside of that?
Okay, so there are a few things. The first thing I would say, and I think is just the best thing, is to be genuine and to be authentic, right? And I've said that before, but that is the first thing. The second thing I would say is follow up. So that has been the game changer of this year for me in terms of getting results. Honestly, I would say last year and the previous years, I was doing the right things, but I wasn't following up enough, right? So you have conversations with people. I have a template. I'm going to share that with you as well for after the meeting. So after the meeting, remember I shared when before you have the meeting, you want to have the meeting with them. I shared what you should say, but after the meeting, you shouldn't just like disappear.
Right.
You should say something. And I have a template here. It was a pleasure connecting with you, the name of the person. I loved learning about your experience at the name of the company. You taught me so much about, you should be taking notes when you're having these coffee chats. You should be taking notes. You should be learning something. So you should say, you taught me so much about adaptability. You taught me so much about SEO. You taught me so much about whatever it is they taught you. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a lovely day. That is the template, right? So it was a pleasure connecting with you. Love learning about your experience. You taught me so much about what they taught you. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a lovely day. Now, that's how you are building a professional relationship. And because you are posting regularly on LinkedIn, which you should be, right? You should be active on LinkedIn. Additionally, you should also reach out to the people you are connecting with every 3 months, telling them about new updates on your professional journey. This sounds like a lot of work, but it's not really a lot of work when you have a template for before you reach out, after you reach out, and then you send them, hey, maybe it's their birthday. You send them an update for their birthday, or they just got a new promotion at work. You tell them congratulations, or you just did something really cool and you would love to share with them. You can send them that as well. That's how you build a relationship with them. And the last thing I'll say is actually last two things. Number one, you should have an elevator pitch. You should have an elevator pitch. So, hey, my name is Fikayo Adeoju. I currently run a non-for-profit, and we distribute care packages to people facing homelessness in Toronto. Like, I have a 1 minute elevator pitch, right? 1 or 2 minutes, right? So you should have that. And I've done a lot of practicing of it, which is why I'm able to say, hey, my name is like, so you should have that. You should have that elevator pitch. And it's okay if the beginning phases, you stumble on your words and stuff like that. Over time, you get better at it. That's number one. Number two, you should be attending networking events. I know it can be daunting. I know it can be frightening, but you should still attend them, because that is where you get to meet the movers and shakers.
You never know who you're going to come across.
Exactly. And on Monday, I attended a networking event and it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. And I've attended a lot this year. I can't count the amount of networking events I've been to, but you keep on meeting people. You keep on, I was there, I was just like, damn, like, wow. Thank God I came. Thank God I left my bed and I came for this event. And that's what you'll be saying as well by the time you start attending all these networking events. So I hope with all these points, I have been able to convince you and not confuse you that networking events and networking is something you should actively be doing and posting on LinkedIn as well.
Yes. I think one last thing is Glory had a question. So
Fantastic.
what question do you have, Glory? If you are still here, you can drop us in the comment and I will be sure to ask that. So just to end up this session, I have a rapid fire round. So this is something that I would like to ask you. Just a quick thing, and then we can see how this goes. Let's give it a shot. So one word to describe your first networking experience.
Frightening.
Frightening. One skill you wish to master.
One skill. Making really good presentations. I don't know what skill that is, but I want to be able to make really good slides.
Good slides, right? With like things coming in. Yeah.
I want to be able to make like really, really good ones.
Because one thing I noticed is whatever, like, you can present however you want, but if your slide is beautiful, that is what's going to attract people.
Exactly. I want to know how to take my slide making skills to the next. So if you know how to do slides really, really well, please reach out to me. Teach me.
There's Microsoft Pilot, which is coming out similar to ChatGPT. It can do that for you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank God.
I don't know. I don't know if they launched it as yet, but yeah, it's called Microsoft Pilot, and like
Okay,
it can create like crazy like PowerPoint presentations for you.
fantastic. Thank you, bro. Thank
No
you.
worries at all. Okay, so let's try to make this quicker, and so you will have less than 5 seconds to answer.
Okay.
Who inspires you the most?
Oh, LeBron James.
Best piece of advice you ever received?
Keep going. Never give up.
Oh shit. A technology you can't live without. Don't say
ChatGPT.
LinkedIn.
ChatGPT.
Biggest lesson learned in your professional journey?
Never take no for an answer.
One skill every professional should develop.
Communication.
A person in history you would love to have a coffee chat with.
Martin Luther King.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for that. And I think right at the end, we have Glory who has his question. So, ChatGPT. How do you communicate your problems? How do you communicate your problem solving? For communication, it's easier to communicate that to people. I mean, communicating on resume. Oh my God.
So on the resume, it's probably not the easiest to communicate, right? But
It's going to
it's
be
in
too
the
lengthy to write.
interview. In the interview stage is where you shine. When you're talking about problem solving. So you can actually, or you should actually, in every single story you have, show that you solve problems. Because why are they hiring you in the first place? There's an issue. There's something to be solved. There's something they want you to help out with. So you should show that maybe, for example, as an international student, let's say you work at Aldo, right? And there was an issue at the back store, there was an issue in the front store, and you helped out in that way. And you were able to do it so perfectly that the customer gave you a good review on the company website. You solved the problem. That's a way you show that you can solve problems. So in the interview stage, it's way easier than on a resume, because on a resume, oh, I really solve problems and stuff. Like, it doesn't sound authentic. But in the interview stage, Glory, it makes you shine, you can answer or show that you can solve problems way easier in the interview stage.
Perfect. Right. So thank you so much. That is all that we have for today, Fikayo. Thank you so much for your time. I am
Thank you.
very grateful for you to join us over here in this session and to share your insights. And also, it's not early. It's already like almost 8 p.m. Toronto. So thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to leave in this session before we end the session?
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. All right. One thing I like is sky is the limit.
Yes, it is the starting point. The sky is the starting point.
Is there any motto that you go by?
The best is yet to come is definitely the motto I go by. Yeah, no matter who you are or where you're from, you can really achieve success and become successful. I really, really believe that, regardless of wherever you start from, regardless of the odds, you can achieve your dream opportunities. So yeah, don't give up, for real. As an international student, it's definitely not easy, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it 100%, right? I know students are going through exam season, it's essay time, things like that, but hang in there. You have a testimony at the end of the day.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much for today. It was a
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me.
And let's keep in touch soon. And then I will wait to hear from you.
Fantastic. Thank you, bro. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.